on out there, people? What's happening? What is going on? Thank you for tuning in. You know what I'm gonna say. You could have been anywhere, but you here with me. Welcome to the legal truth, where the truth that set you free by any means necessary. It could be physically, it could be mentally, depending on the situation or where you at. You know, you could be in prison. I might say something to help you out. You know what I mean? There's a lot of people that's in prison that's hearing things from YouTube or other social media platforms, especially on TV. I remember years ago on Law and Order, they used that. He got home. Check this out though, but we are going to in about 2 minutes, because you know we're talking about the Diddy. You know we're talking about the Diddy trial today. I know I've been gone for a second, but we're gonna be back. I'm gonna be back in like 2 minutes. I'm gonna let y'all relax. Let some people tune in. You see, I got my pineapple shirt on. But matter of fact, while we wait on some people to tune in, yo, how does weather been treating you? Oh man, yo, this weather is crazy. I'm telling yo, I'm definitely going to the barber tomorrow. If this little bit of hair I got here, I normally keep a bald head, but man, I don't even want this on my head. It's so hot. Yesterday it was hot by the time I got off my bike, because I got a Harley. By the time I got off my bike, it felt like I was just riding on a radiator, like a big heater, like a big dryer. I was like just riding. It was just heat from the engine all up in my face. And then on top of that, I got a helmet on. I'm like, oh my God. But yo, look, hit that like button as soon as you come in. Hit that like button as soon as you come in. Hit that subscribe button as soon as you come in. Hit that share button. Tell a friend that I'm on. We about to go into this Diddy case. I remember I left off when I was talking about Mia. I didn't get to finish. But it's been so much that has been going on with this man case that I won't even start with Mia. But I will finish with her. I will finish with her. I won't be reading the transcripts like I normally do. I definitely would piece it out here and there, but we're gonna get to it. Give me another minute. Let's give people another minute to tune in. Who got this water? You know, you gotta keep this water on deck. You see it, you got to see it. No alcohol, straight water. You know, some of my haters out there, you know, they be wanna the negative spotlight about me drinking alcohol. You know what I mean? You got all the way down up in North Carolina. People don't like me. I hope they stay down there. Those that don't like me. But that's neither here nor there. I've been having a great day. Matter of fact, I've been having a great summer. Been having a great summer. I no longer smoke. I don't smoke weed no more. I don't smoke cigarettes. I don't even drink no more. Yes, I stopped drinking alcohol. Remember the last couple of episodes I had about mental health? And I had the bar out here. That was part of the theme that I was talking about. But, you know, outside of that, I was enjoying my drinking. You know what I'm saying? Like, nobody could question me about that because I'm 50 years old. I ain't no young person younger than me that wasn't even coming out the house and not have the audacity to come up here and start telling me about, yo, you drinking. Yo, you drinking too much. Yo, that's my issue. That's my life. That's not your life. That's not your life to put yourself in the position to tell me what I'm drinking or how much I'm drinking. But guess what? I don't drink no more. But now check this out. Check the flip side about this. Those that kept talking about it, I don't drink, but you still do. On that because it kill you from the inside just drinking, but trying to get rid of it. Ooh, man, I tell you. Okay, this is my sister over here with her fine self. You know what I mean? But like I said, we're gonna wait on a few people. I'm getting ready to start in the next. Matter of fact, yeah, I'm gonna start in the next I'll give it the last minute. After that, we're gonna go right in. We're gonna go right in. I know, like I said, it's been some time. I've been away probably about a week. Had a lot of family things going on. You know what I'm saying? My grandson came into the world, been spending time. As a matter of fact, I'm watching my grandson right now. So hey, I'm doing two things at the same time, but I'm doing things positive. I always got to keep it positive in your life. You know what I'm saying? When you're thinking a lot of negative, you get a lot of negative in your life. Especially the people that, want to always point the finger at you. Don't worry about it. Those are the hypocrites. When they keep pointing the finger at them, pointing the finger at you, look, it's pointing right back at them. So you ain't got to worry about anything. Their time will be coming. You just focus on you. You know what I'm saying? Just like the Diddy situation. See, he was doing a whole lot of, gumbo stuff, and a lot of things came back to him. You know what I mean? And I believe that him sitting in that prison, woke him up to a lot of things. We heard, Puffy had a big drug problem. He was a big, big drug addict. He was a functional drug addict, And now that when you're in there, you don't pollute your mind and your body like you do on the outside. That's why some of you that know people that's in prison, they always talk a lot of positive stuff, and then you'll focus. You're like, man, you weren't even talking like that. That's because the drugs and the alcohol was polluting their mind. So, but let's get right into it. This Puffy case was and is a very interesting case, right? Initially, when I heard Puffy was indicted for the things we heard of, sex trafficking and everything like that, the free golf parties, I was like whoa. I was like, they got my man. You see, I got my pioneer shirt. I got to represent because Puffy's in the lifestyle. You know what I'm saying? That's my lifestyle, brother. I got to represent. You just don't know the lifestyle. But as you seen a few of my contents, I'm pretty sure you got into that. Matter of fact, tune into Lethal Seduction 13 on my other channel with my wife. We talk about the lifestyle. So you can understand a lot about what Puffy was doing, what Puffy was going on with himself. But like I said, I think this case was way bigger than Puffy. Now I don't want to say way bigger than Puffy. It was more about Puffy. They don't care about Cassie. They didn't care about none of that. It was a bigger rule. Y'all have fun out there. You know what I'm saying? My sister and my daughter, they stepping out,
Hey y'all.
Y'all have a good night, That's that family life, you know what I'm saying? That's the best thing in life that you can possess. You know what I'm saying? It's family life. Besides, you're hanging with your mans or your homegirls that's like a second extension of your family, that's more close to your family. I won't even say second extension of your family, because if you consider those type of friends your family, then that means you're inviting them into your house, or you're inviting them to know your family. You know what I'm saying? So that becomes a whole big family. Like y'all might have Taco Tuesdays, y'all might like this weekend, we got a whole cookout with some of my friends is invited. Family. But let's get back into it. Like I said, this case was about Puff, and I believe this case is bigger than Cassie. First of all, I don't think they cared anything about Cassie. You understand? Everything was all right until Puff sued Diego. And the reason why he sued Diego is because they was trying to relocate or locate. I won't say relocate or locate. They was trying to position his De Leon brand, his De Leon alcohol into the urban community. You understand what I'm saying? Example, when you go to the liquor store, right? You see certain brands at certain sections. Certain rich people, you can't even find their wine in your liquor store, but you can find other wines in there. When you go into that liquor store, you see the Hennessy with all the other stuff like Don Julio, Jose Cuervo. You see all that on the same side, because they know this is what black people drink. Then they may have another side where it's all the wine that you even never heard of. Some wine you can't even pronounce. That's the wine for the white people. But the ones in our community, you ain't gonna find. So what Puff did, because he was trying to figure out what was the holdup with his brand, because he stopped dealing with the Ciroc, because what they like to do is like to make money off of us. So he had shares in Ciroc. See, this is what they do. They get the big face, the big name like Jay-Z. Like right now, what they trying to do, like they did with the Barclays Center, they say Jay-Z's opening up a casino Coney Island. Let me tell you something. Ain't no black man in no America opening up no casino by himself just like that. They using Jay-Z's face. They using his influence in the black community, because that casino is going to be built in the black community. And you're going to be running around talking about, yo, Hov is starting to Hov. And then you're going to run down there like you did the Barclays Center. And then you're going to spend all your money up in there. And guess what Jay-Z going to do after that? He's going to sell his shares and leave just like he did the Barclays Center. Jay-Z ain't opening up nothing. They knocked on his door and said, you want some partnership? And that's how that goes. But back to Puff. This is the same thing they was doing with Puff with Ciroc. And they put his face on and his brand on, his face on his brand as his image, and they cut him some shares. And he's felt like, yo, y'all jerking me. Y'all making all this millions and billions, and y'all giving me like 20, 30 million a year. Like, nah, I want my own liquor. So he created De Leon and he got his own brand. Which you didn't know, he was one of the first black men to have a hard liquor into the black community. But what Puff wanted to do, he wanted to make it universal. He didn't want to put it in the black community just for black people. He wanted to put it in the white community, the Asian community. He wanted to put it in the restaurants, in the clubs. This is what he wanted to do. And the white people felt like he was getting too big for his britches. So what they try to do, they try to slow up his business by not supplying agave that is used to make the liquor. That agave is like an organic honey. It's not the actual honey. Actually, it's more healthier than the honey that you see in the store. So they was holding it back. So he was like, why is it not moving? What's going on? So he went down there himself, because normally rich people don't like to do stuff. They send people to do the investigation. He said, nah, I'm going down there myself. And he saw what they was trying to do. And he sued them. He had the proof. He had so much proof that they was like, okay, we're not even going to go to court. We're going to settle out. And they gave him $1 billion. Who you know settles out for $1 billion? You don't even hear white companies settling out for $1 billion. You may hear 200 million. You may hear 100 million over here, 300 million over there, but $1 billion to a black man? Oh, these white people was mad. They was mad. Then the second mistake he did within that year, I won't say that was the second mistake. I was saying that was the first mistake they felt he made. But the second mistake they felt he made, again, was he decided to start his own black political party. Not those boulets, those bougie black peoples and those Alpha Phis and all of that. They not, listen. And there's no disrespect to you college graduates. You know what I'm saying? I just don't dig your secret society. And stop telling me you're not a part of secret society. Because when you got approached for that, you didn't get approached in an audience with your friends. They tapped you on the shoulder. Then when you got initiated, they tell you to do this. And we're going to go through our rituals, but you can't. Then we got our oath, but you can't. See, that's secret society. This is what Puff was all down with. You understand? He was a boule. He was down with Eric Adams, part of Martin Luther King, Jesse Jackson, Al Sharpton. This is all boule. T.D. Jakes, all boule. Now he want to condemn Bobby to my he ain't never been to a Diddy party. Stop lying. But we ain't here for that. Right? So when he decided that he wanted to make a political black party, he said he didn't want to make one that was equal to the ones that was already on the scene. He wanted to get people from his community that could actually speak, because he said when he was around the circles of that money and that power, we wasn't part of the conversation. They send the house ninjas to do that. We listen to them and we cheer. We say, yeah, they're making a change. They're not making no change. Those are the ones that keep you at bay so you don't start a revolution. Those are the ones that, if they feel the revolution is going to be televised or be active, what they do, since they understand the black language, they go back to the house master and they say, house master, look, it's going down. You know what I'm saying? Puff was started to break away from that. But like the federal government, they watch all celebrities. They watch your weaknesses. And they knew Puff's weakness was the freak offs, as you hear about it. Those freak offs are called, in the pineapple world, LS parties. Those in the upside down pineapple world, we consider people like that as swingers, LS couples. It's different levels to it, because you may be a swinger, that doesn't mean that you go to a party and you and your husband, y'all having sex with everybody in the party. It don't go down like that. It's been times that I go to parties and the husband will just watch his wife do what she do, and then they go home, and that's his satisfaction. This is what you call a voyager. This is what Puff was a part of. This is why, what's so funny? What's so funny? Because I'm gonna get back to that, but I don't want to stay too long on that. When Puff got locked up, a lot of people talk bad about him. You know what I'm saying? They talk bad about him. They defecated on him. They started making all types of, rumors about him. Before that, he was the champion. He had the key to the city. Everybody liked to go to the Puff party. Everybody was promoting the white parties. But let me tell you how much society is so hypocritical, and how the news media control your mind. When Tupac got arrested for rape, y'all called him all kinds of dirty names. Y'all called him a fake thug. Y'all said he tarnished his mother's image, her memory, things she fought for, his peoples, his grandparents or step parents, whatever you want to call it. Matulu Shakur, shout out to that brother. And then Tupac got sentenced. He got sentenced to 1 to 3. Everybody in the industry turned their back because they was concerned with his image. A lot of people in the press said he was guilty. Look what he did to a woman, right? Pac came home. He started making hits. You women forgot about it. He became a sex symbol. Next thing you know, he got killed. Now he's a legend. But before, he was a rapist. See how hypocritical y'all become out there? Mike Tyson, same thing. Women blamed him for rape. Y'all said, oh, he tarnished his image. That's why he losing. He on drugs. He losing his belt. Oh, throw away the key. He got locked up. He lost some of his character. Some of his image into the press. Then when he came home and he started knocking people up, he became a legend again. Y'all start loving Mike. Even today now, y'all start loving Mike. Y'all just like all people that's y'all consider rapists, and then all of a sudden they start doing a good thing. Y'all love them again, because guess what? Y'all no longer distracted on. Y'all find something else new to be distracted on, instead of knowing the ins and outs of their case. That's what's so funny to me. And when Puffy beat this, y'all gonna say the same thing about Puffy. Gonna come out with a hit or a movie or a tell-all book, and then y'all gonna be like, yo, that's bad what they doing to Puff. Yo, Puff don't deserve that. When he got, prior to him getting locked up, y'all was calling him gay. Y'all was saying he was sleeping with men. Y'all was saying men was sleeping with him. But when it went to the courts, you ain't hear none of that. All you heard with him was sleeping with all kind of women. Women that look better than your wife. Women that look better than some of you. I have to say it like that because you had a lot to say. You had a lot to say. You know, but they wanted Puff. They wanted him bad because he has the assets to start a political party. He has the assets. He has the assets and he has the power and influence to not only start a political party, but to get it to moving. And they didn't like that. So they came after him and they came after his assets. And they had to use incidents that happened 10 years ago, 15 years ago. Like, are you kidding me? Which I didn't want to hear it. I said, oh, Puff was having these parties. Now all the truth was going to come out. I was like, what truth? I ain't going to lie. I thought he was done. I thought he was done because they, like you said, when the feds come and they knock on your door, it's over. But then I started to think, I said, wait a minute now. Didn't Irv Gotti beat a RICO charge? I'm like, hold on, wait a minute now. I done read in the Don Diva magazine, there's a few brothers that actually was, well, I would say allegedly, in the drug game and gave back life on a RICO and beat the feds. So don't act like it can't be done. It can be done, especially if you're lying on a man or female. Now, I was very interested in this case now than I was before because but first, initially when the case popped off, you had this black fella and he was supposed to be the lead prosecutor. And he was talking about how they was going to prosecute Puffy and so forth and so have you. And then all of a sudden, they pulled the black man off the case. I said, damn, what happened? I said, well, maybe he talked too fast. He shouldn't have made a press conference. But I'm like, wait a minute. Yeah, I know he had to get the okay. Had to get the okay because he's not the senior United States District Attorney. So I said, what's going on? So now I started to see all the prosecutors that was starting to prosecute Puffy. I said, wait a minute, it's all white women. So what happened to the brother? Why did they get rid of the brother? What was the reason? They said, nah. This is my thought. I think they said, nah, because you're gonna be too hard on this too easy on this black man. Because you're gonna see the truth and you're gonna be lenient. But we ain't trying to be lenient. We're trying to railroad him. And we're trying to make up lies to railroad this black man and steal his billions. And your air kind of blowing, Now when my grandson freezing like he in the North Pole, I gotta make things comfortable for him. So now these 6 white prosecutors had to figure out a way how to railroad Puff. So they went to get all his witnesses because they wanted to get a RICO case, right? So what they wanted to do was get everybody that was working for him to do things for him. Excuse me. They wanted to get everybody that was working for him that was doing certain things for him. And that entails a RICO because if they're doing something illegal they're not supposed to be doing, then guess what? It becomes, hey, $50, peace. Come on. Grandpa here. Hold on, y'all. Well, I ain't stopping. I gotta take care of my little man. There you go. Grandpa here, I got you. We ain't going nowhere. We still on live, me and you together. Oh man, I think he want me to hold him. Thank you. Hold on now. Let me put you in the seat. Hold on. There you go. Hey, Grandpa got you. We here. Look, we live. We here. Come here a little closer, Grandpa. Come on. Come a little closer. There you go. My little man. You know what I'm saying? I tell you, family it is what it is. It's the best thing. So the prosecutors decided that they had to utilize these people that was working for Puffy. And they had to use them through fear and bitterness because of most of the people that decided to testify against Puffy. Hold on, y'all. There you go. My son helping me out. Thank you. I come get him as soon as I'm done. So, so I know a lot of y'all like, come on, man. Listen, man, my grandson come first. All right, you gonna hold on, and we gonna get to this. No, I don't stop you. Nobody stop you at your job. Don't stop me. Well, this ain't my job. This is my life, but don't stop me. You know what I'm saying? This gonna continue. Even if I had the rock him, I'd have been like this talking. It is what it is. Hit that like button. Hit that like button. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. Please hit that subscribe button. Hit that share button and tell a friend that I'm on because I'm about to go in. So, what the prosecutors did, these 6 white women, they called upon those that was bitter towards Puffy, particularly the women that he dealt with. And most of the women, all the women, well, I won't say all, because he wasn't sleeping with Cassie's mother. Am I right? All right. But other than that, all the women that got on that stand to testify, Puffy was, doing his thing with them. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, during this trial, you ain't hear about no man with doing this with Puffy. You ain't hear about no freak over him doing no other homosexual activity. And to be honest, the women that he was dealing with, man, they bad. So I can see why y'all was trying to make him look gay. Hey, man, the hate is real. It is what it is. But look, these 6 prosecutors told these witnesses, said, we're going to give you immunity. Hey, they probably like, what you talking about immunity? Because you was buying drugs for Puff. You was carrying this gun for Puff. Or you was doing, and they kind of scared. They don't know the law. They don't run the streets. They have no idea what's going on. And they felt scared. They felt like, you know what? All right, listen, I testify. I testified. The rest of them was already bitter. They already had lawsuits in. So they was like, yeah, we're gonna get him. Because I want to make my lawsuit even stronger. So immunity it's like this. You are protected by that law if you are caught on the stand lying. Let's say that again. Perjury means immunity means you are protected by any perjury, any lie, which is perjury on a stand in law. So they could have went up there and said, listen, Puffy raped me, I did this, he did that to me, and it could be found out as a lie, and they can't get perjury. I'm gonna give you a perfect example. Little Kim. She had no immunity, but she got caught in the lie when she was on trial. Am I correct? And what happened? They gave her a year. She beat the case, but they gave her a year for a lie because she committed perjury. Now these witnesses, they was immune. So when we heard Cassie was the star witness. We heard Cassie was the star witness. Automatically we knew, oh, you're going down, bro, because we already knew that the tape was out. Mysteriously, I don't know how it got leaked. They said it several ways. They said the security guard took a photo, took a video of it, because the video that we saw is only about what, 30 seconds, but the actual video is for 5 minutes, to the point where you showed him, her and Puff sitting down having a conversation, and then her getting up and him putting his hands on her, which was wrong. I don't condemn, I don't condone. And then went to the hotel room. But before going back to the hotel room, they sat down again and had a conversation. And then security came up. But we're going to get into that. So all these people was protected. So again, the first attack that came for Puff was that video. Because Cassie put in a lawsuit for whatever reason. Some is speculating on a, theory that Diego approached her and told her, listen, we're going to give you so and so amount of money if you do this. And you tell Puffy that you have a tell-all book and they give you 20 million. Because they already had it in their mind. We're going to leak this tape. But it'll make it look even good. Because you got to understand something. Cassie, prior to that, she was broke. She was broke after she left Puffy. She was with the trainer, Alex, Alex Fine, I believe. And they were so poor that Cassie had to move back in with her parents. This guy was dead broke. The man of the house. Now, I don't judge it. I have my downtime too. You know what I'm saying? But I don't know why you making babies if you know you homeless. I want babies too, but I'm not going to give my wife no baby if we out in the street homeless. Because now, how the hell I'm going to feed a baby? Now I'm starting to think criminal activity, and then that could take me away from my family, because, that's human nature. We're going to lash out and do what we have to do to feed our family. If you're a real man, you understand what I'm saying? So she was already pregnant, so he didn't have it. He was a trainer. He was a trainer for celebrities. Puffy wasn't the only one. I guess that messed up his money, because he was thinking he was going to live off for Cassidy, and things kind of backfired. He should have kept on with his career. But he makes business with pleasure, and as my wife said, karma got involved with whatever scheme they was doing on the side, and they ended up homeless. So when the tape came out, we was all like, I was even like, oh man, yo, you done, my dude. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, how can you get out of that one? It was just like plain as day. Like I tell you, the media will fool you. It would tell you not how to think. It would tell you what to think about. So if you keep playing this tape all day long, it just making Puffy look bad. And I'm like, oh man, now I'm hearing you sell that I would cash it for 20 million. And then we hearing all the rumors that Jaguar Wright is lying about. And it makes it look fitting good. It's like, you know what I'm saying? It's like what Cassie knows. You know what I'm saying? Because Jaguar Wright been saying all of this. All this stuff we've been hearing Jaguar Wright said, they ain't say nothing of that in the courthouse. I don't even know why she went down to the courthouse for the first time. Like she was out the picture before Bad Boy actually really, really, really blew up to the point, Mace was in there. You know what I mean? She been gone. But not to get into that. But now Puffy had put himself in a situation because he was dealing with Cassie. So now Cassie, she has 20 million, right? 20 million. And now Puffy is being, I won't say on the run, but he's having this warrant over his head from the federal government, United States government, because now they want him for his arrest. right? They want him for the RICO. They want him for sex trafficking. They want him for bribery, obstruction of justice. They want him from arson. The list went on. But this was the interesting part was while they was invading his house, he was in Miami at the airport. When they was invading his house in Miami, he was still in Miami at the airport. Now let me tell you something. When the feds come, they don't wait for you to leave. They come get you in your bed. And the way they came into his house, trust me, they come into your house armed up, everybody with the guns that they had, everything. They're not gonna wait for you to leave. And they knew his flight plan. He was out there with his twin daughters ready to go have fun and go out. Buffy stressed out. We saw it on TMZ. He walking around like, what the hell going on? Because he's trying to figure out what's going on. So they arrest him and they lined up 34 witnesses against him, right? So, which is real interesting. 34 witnesses. I said, God damn. I said, well, I got to see what was going on. I started to get into the case. But you know, the DA, they have their favoritism of journalists who they allow into the courthouse, into the 24th floor, into the 26th floor. I believe the 26th floor was the overflow floor, if I'm correct, or was the 24th. It was either or. And you will only hear most of the prosecution side because they let their friends come in. And then you had ABC, NBC, all the prosecution friends that's cool with the network, they will come in and you will only hear the prosecution side. So you will hear Cassie come up there saying, I was forced into it. He said, I was forced into it. And it's crazy because he had 11, I believe he has 11 lawyers. Gonna get to Cassie. He has 11 lawyers, and there was 6 white prosecutors, 6 white female prosecutors, and he had 11 lawyers. These were heavy hitters. Let me tell you something. You got to go back to my content and check it out. They was flying heads in there. You understand what I'm saying? So Cassie goes up there first, star witnesses. So everybody's ready because I was ready too because I was like, man, she gonna fry him. She already got 20 million too. She got what he wants. She could fry, and she has immunity, which means what? She can lie if she wants, and if she's caught in a lie, she's safe from perjury. So she could get up there and say whatever she want to say. She probably know a lot more and didn't even bury him. She could have said, yes, he raped me. He choked me the other night when we was together before we broke up, and then turned me around and did the American Me. If you saw the American Me movie, you know what I'm talking about. She didn't say that. When she initially met Puff when she was 21. Ryan Leslie was dealing with her when she was 19 years old. And he decided that he wanted to, give her good production, make sure her career blew up, and he knew Puff can do it. So he brought her to Puff, who, Puff and his freaking work. He like, ooh, that young thing. You know what I mean? He's in a lifestyle. When I go there, what you think is there? You think it's just old women? Please, man, look. Be they 25, 29, 31, they there. They letting it loose. And you got the women there that's 40-something years old too. But we're gonna get into that when we get to the Voyager part of Puff life. And eventually Puff took a liking to her. I believe he signed it to his production company, if I'm correct, and he started to work with her. But he popped up on her at her 21st birthday. Came there, I forgot who he came, but I put it in my content, my last show. But he came there with two celebrities, and of course, Cassie. She felt like she was special. Her school felt in college felt like she was special. Like, yo, you got Diddy at your party? I know I'd be like this. Yeah, did he come to my birthday party? What? We got champagne. What? Yo, slug, I know you don't. And that's my man. You come on, y'all. Y'all know how y'all would have been. Don't stop lying. And this is how she felt. She got their attention. Now she's thinking like, man, Ryan Leslie was one thing, but we talking about a multi-million. We talking about the guy that wrote Biggie, like Mace. Like this guy's on MTV, BET, and well, the MTV don't exist anymore, but he's on the Grammys. He's everywhere. Like I'm dealing with Puff. She went with where the bag was at. Broke Ryan Leslie heart. Broke his heart so bad the brother had made a song about it. Yeah, go check it out. I forgot the name of the song, but you can Google it. He said it when he was talking about all of this that came up. They said, "How do you feel?" He said, "Yo, she broke my heart." They was in a deep relationship. So I guess he felt she misled him and told him whatever he wanted to hear at one point in time. And maybe she was sincere until that bigger bag came. She's young. She's 21. Now, a lot of you women would like to say, oh, he manipulated her. She was 21. I could give you that. I could give you that. He manipulated her to a degree because he manipulated her because he knew she wanted that bag. Because if you was in that position, you would want that bag. If I was 21 and Holly Berry came at me and Vivica Fox and said, come on, baby, you're going to go on a date. Whoever I was with at 21, call me, hey, it is what it is. I'm 21. I'm going with that bag. That's how she was thinking. I'm going with that bag. She broke that man's heart. Broke his heart. He can't even produce her no more. She signed with Bad Boy and everything. I just cut him off. This man went up there and made a love song. Poured his heart out. So who was the victim? Ryan or Cassie? Just asking. Because a lot of people would like to say, that she was the victim through the whole thing and she was manipulated. Trust me, 21-year-olds can manipulate too. She knew Puffy wanted that thing, and she knew how to play it, and she played it well. We're going to get into all of that. So as time go on, Puff started to introduce her into the lifestyle. They even found Texas because they started putting Texas up. And I always say people think that these Texas be going after, they be thinking these Texas be going after they get a new phone or they delete the message. They was pulling up Texas from 2009. You know how many phones a person ran through by now from 2009? No. But see, they never thought of that. But the prosecution team knew because you there got to be coached. But they knew. Yo, how many chicks manipulated you back in the day? How many females manipulated me? I would say about 3. That's serious. I would say about 3. The one Wally, that I don't talk to. You got my first son, his mother. And you had this female just before I got incarcerated when I was younger. Manipulated. I got manipulated. And even though I was doing manipulated, I was a cheater, but hey, you get fooled too. You know what I'm saying? So now Cassie is dealing with him and she says, listen, I want you to make me the woman you want me to be. You tell a grown ass man that, he's like, oh, okay, I got you. Hold on now. Wally said, now it's like you could go to the prison for that. Yeah, now it's like you go. Yeah, you're right. It's like now you could go to prison for that. And you could be 50 years old and talking to someone that just turned 21, and people will look at you like you're a rapist. And they will say you coerced the whole goddamn relationship. Meanwhile, she living like she in heaven. She know what he want. He probably can't even get it up. She probably know he just want conversation. And she getting that money. And now look. So now Cassie, like I said, she's telling Diddy, make me the woman you want me to be. Meanwhile, he's in a lifestyle, he freaking out because he was doing this with Kim Porter. And whoever else we know before Kim Porter. He's in the lifestyle, right? So he's like, all right, cool. Listen, we're going to start doing these free calls. That's his name for it. For us in a lifestyle, we'll call it just a threesome. You know what I'm saying? Or they would just say, call a bull over. A bull is a man that's coming into your relationship to have sex with your girl or your woman while you stand by and you watch. You watching makes you a voyager. We have that at parties. You see it, and then the man plays with himself, as you would say. I don't want to say too much because I don't want YouTube to strike my content. They already struck one of my contents a couple of days ago. It's because I prayed. You can't even pray on YouTube? What the hell? It's because I said God name. But we ain't gonna get into that. So he started to get into the free course with her, and he started to say, yo, we're gonna call up some male escorts. And he started to teach her how to do it. Now, at this time, they're in a relationship. This is girl. This ain't no sex trafficking. Yo, listen, I want you to go over there to Jay-Z and I'm gonna pay you this, and then after that you go over the cap. No, that's no. This is on his personal time. This is not on a time where he got to do a show or he's in the studio. No, they're at a hotel, a secluded hotel. I won't even say secluded, at the Trump International, which means you're paying like $30,000 a night. Check that out. You know any man that's just paying a random female $30,000 a night at a hotel money just to have a free call? Listen, where I come from, we take you to the galaxy, baby. Straight up $50 for like 2 hours, and then you go your way. He was paying $30,000 a night. Well, you pay $30,000, you better get a night. You know what I mean? But they had the jacuzzi, they had all the setup. So she would call the escorts over. One by the name of, everybody heard of the Punisher, who has erectile dysfunction to the point where he had to get an implant into his. He wrote a book about it and everything, and he talks about it on different shows. Yeah, he's getting paid for interviews. So he said initially he didn't know who that was. He said when he came in, Diddy was in the shower, or in the bathroom. He didn't even know who Cassie was. Most of us didn't know who Cassie was until we heard all of this. We probably heard a song like her song now, like, oh yeah, I remember that song. We ain't know nothing about no Cassie. So he came in. So one of the things that they have as their rules, their boundaries, is you call the escorts up, you pick what guy you want, because I know you want a guy that's strong. Let's say that, right? And excite me. This is what Puffy probably saying. That this is what Voyagers want. I need you to go get somebody that's strong, because I want to hear you. I want to hear you vocally while I get off. If you ever seen porn, then you'll understand what the picture I'm trying to paint for him. He's into that, right? So now, while the Punisher's there, Cassie is telling him, yo, listen, my man wants us to be, glycerin and baby oil, because that's Puff thing. He likes to be in baby oil. A lot of y'all used to laugh at that, like, oh, he in there with baby or. But some of you like to see your women in lingerie. That's a fetish. Some of you like their toes done. That's a fetish. Some of you won't even have sex if they don't give oral. That's a fetish. So this is Puffy's fetish. You understand? You don't understand it or you ain't in it. It may look weird to you or sound weird to you, but it ain't weird. To me, I was just like, okay, I gotta try this baby oil in the bathtub and see how it be glycerin. Hey, Cole, you can say what you want. I'm a grown ass man, right? So, of course, I believe they did their thing. You know, prior to that, Puffy came out of the bathroom. And he said he had a veil over his face. Puffy covered his face. You see that at certain LS parties, especially those that is called the masquerade parties. People will come in and have their mask on and they won't take it off because they have a certain profession like Puffy. You understand? Some of them be judges, high profile doctors. Some will be security. You like the recently the young sister with the nice figure. She's I believe it was an allied security, and she did some twerking or whatever. And she had, I think she did a bodysuit shoot or whatever. But I knew she had the uniform on, and they fired her. That's your profession. You can't get caught up in those type of scandals. So they, people you go to those parties, they protect their image. They won't even give you their real name. They'll give you a whatever Joe Blow name. They won't even have sex with you at the party. They'll just come to pick people at the parties just so they can take home. Hit that like button. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. Tell a friend, pick up the phone. Tell them, yo, he taking his time a little bit, but he about to go in. So during this time, Cassie is doing this every week, right? They bringing up Texas in the courts on the screen for everybody to see. She's talking about she liked the freak off. She can't wait for the next freak off. Not only that, but she's actually having sex with people outside of Puffy. That is called the escorts. Because there were several. You had Paul the Italian. You had the Punisher. You had about 4 or 5 of them. Not on top of that, she was sleeping with Michael B. Jordan. Yo, man, she was sleeping with Kid Cudi. But this is the woman y'all said was a victim. Now, when the videotape scandal happened, the security broke it up. Well, not broke it up because it was already broke up. But the security went in, told her, yo, listen, okay, ma'am, are you all right? Do you want to leave? He was like, she was like, I'm okay, but yeah, I want to leave. Puffy like, yo, she not leaving. But nah, this is girl. He like, she not leaving. Security gets involved, like, listen, she has to leave. That's his job. Puffy like, you know what? You cool. You cool. Let her go. She leaves. She's in a cab. She calls her friend Mia. No, Capricorn Clark. No, not Capricorn Clark. Excuse me. She calls her best friend. Oh, I forgot her name. I should have had it written down because I didn't write her name down because she didn't really have too much to say. But it was her best friend from high school who she saw the relationship with Ryan Leslie turn into Puffy, and she called her and said, "Listen, this is what happened with me and Puff. I'm on my way there to you. I don't want to take his calls. He's blowing up my phone." Puff is like, yo, I might get arrested. Call me. What's going on? She don't want to answer his calls, right? On the stand or in a lawsuit, she claims that she had a swollen eye or purple eye. The security, we gonna get to him. But now later on that night, she calls D-Rock, Puffy's head security, and she says she wants to talk to Sean Puffy. Eventually they speak. And after that, they go to the movie premiere. What movie premiere? There was a movie premiere that she starred in that she made, I believe, was in South Africa. During that time, she was sleeping with Michael B. Jordan, so she was cheating on Puffy at this time. So while she was doing all these freak offs, she was over there having sex with Michael B. Jordan. I don't know. Maybe he was doing Creed at the time. I don't know. But I'm pretty sure now he was like, oh man. But this is what was going on. She was not coerced. She always said, I couldn't wait for the next freak off. Then I believe at some point in time, it started to get out of hand because every time they indulged in these sexual activities, they was always high. They was either using pink cocaine, ketamine, ecstasy, Molly. Let me tell you, you on that thing, you going from 0 to 100. You ain't thinking straight. You just want to have fun, and whoever you with and you're comfortable with sexually or just your friend, you're gonna go 0 to 1. Even if you're not sexually active, you just hanging out with your mans and you on that, you're gonna be going out wilding out. You're gonna be looking for females. You're gonna be doing you. So, so in their case, and these drugs works off your emotions. Imagine the sex they was trying to have every weekend, and they was taking these drugs every day. So I'm like, where's the part where she felt like she was being raped? I think along the way she got tired of it. You know, she got tired of it. She like, damn, I feel like I'm just every week I'm just taking another one here and there. All them, you know, like I need him to just calm down. And maybe she did throw it out there to him, like, Sean, you gotta calm down. But what she also said was I continued to do it because I didn't want other females to do it because I love Puffy. And I know if I didn't do it, he was definitely going to get somebody else to do it. Because we already heard he had about 6 or 7 or 8 girlfriends. And he already told her from the jump how many girlfriends he had. So she definitely was like, hold on, let me secure my position because now I'm signed to this man at this label. I'm getting this good money and I don't want to lose it. I'm living lavish now. Now I'm in the mansions. I'm on a private jet. I'm going from 3 different states in one day. Like I'm not trying to get this to nobody else. So she's going to be quiet and do what she want to do because she want to keep up that lifestyle. See, this is what a lot of you women say. Oh, that was the manipulation part. No, and I disagree with that because, and me personally, I feel if you was in that same position, you would do that because you was doing that with the drug dealers around your way. Some of you are doing it right now, and I'm not criticizing women. I'm not. I'm talking about those that actually is actually doing this, but this not on that level. You know what I'm saying? You ain't getting rid of the man that's paying your car note and paying your rent. Stop lying. You ain't even getting rid of the dude that just doing your nails. Let's be for real about that. So they asked Cassie, out of everything, did you love Puffy throughout that whole time? This is the prosecution and the defense, and I'm mixing it all up. And Cassie, she said, "Yeah, I was in love with Puff, and I believe Puff was in love with me." So they asked her, the defense. They said, "Do you still love Puffy?" Now, mind you, her husband is there listening to all of this. He's listening to things that he didn't even know, right? And I heard she hesitated. Then she said, "I love my past." Now, does this sound like a woman that was sexually abused? Physically abused? I could see that happen. I could see that happening when we saw the tape. But she said, "I love my past." The way y'all paint it, I don't see how a female could love that type of past. She loved it. She enjoyed it. She loved all those freak offs and all those drug uses and everything. Okay? And after that incident at the hotel, and she went to the red carpet with Puffy later that night, go check it out. You'll see no black eyes, no bruises, and anything. They right on the red carpet together, boyfriend and girlfriend. But child some try to make it out to be something else. Then they called Don Rashad, right? Try to call Don Rashad. I ain't gonna say too much on Cassie. They try to call Don Rashad, who has a civil suit against Puffy. She was down with Danny Kane. She lied so much, like 13 lies. She talked about how she saw Puffy came down in a rage and tried to throw a frying pan at Cassie because everybody had made fried egg, excuse me, scrambled eggs, and then he didn't have any. This was what she was saying. She said he threw the frying pan with eggs in it at him. Then she said he just threw a frying pan. Then she said she heard the frying pan. Yo, she told 13 lies on the stand. 13 lies. Yo, it was so bad. The jury started laughing. Throughout the trial, they had to always refrain the jury from laughing because these people was getting caught in all their lies. So you hear about Don Rashad, you be like, oh, Puffy going down. Don Rashad just put the blast on him. And then when the cross-examination comes up, like, hold up, you didn't say that to the prosecutors. You said this. Hold up, you didn't put that in the lawsuit. You said that. And then she was up there on the stand still changing testimony. They was like, listen, we don't even know what you're saying now because you're saying too much. So we ain't gonna stay on Don Rashad. She trying to sue Puff for 6.5 million. Talk about he sabotaged her career. What career? And speaking of careers, they try to say he sabotaged Cassie's career. Let me ask you a question. You know any artist with no album out can do a song with Jay-Z, with Cassie, with Rick Ross, and DJ Khaled? So her career was a stall. She got great production in her career. As a matter of fact, Capricorn Clark, who testified against Puffy, it admitted that. She said no. She said she said Cassie got more production than anybody in history in Bad Boy. Why? Because she was sleeping with the boys. And he was in love with her. He tried to shape her career. But they said, well, what happened? She said, because Cassie got into the zone and into the mood where she felt she was important because that was her man now. So she ain't got to do this now. For what? She like, I'm in a legend. At this time, Puffy got a condo for her in LA, a condo for her in New York. She's on a Learjet, private jet. And you listen, them private jets got beds, they got movie screens. Imagine coming from Brownsville houses and living like that. You trying to go back? So she got comfortable. She felt like, you know what? As long as I keep doing these freak offs and he keep paying my bills and doing this, I'm good to go. So they got rid of Capricorn Clark. Like I said, it was so bad that the jury was laughing at her. I mean, not Capricorn, Don Rashad. It was so bad, and started laughing at her. Got up off the stand, right? Then you got Capricorn Clark. Oh my God. Capricorn Clark was an assistant and was close to Cassie, one of Cassie's friends, right? Capricorn Clark said that she was initially drugged by Puffy at Burning Man concert. I don't know what kind of concert that was, but it was in another country, right? It was her, Diddy, and Cassie. This was in 2011. This is the same woman that says that she was kidding. Now, hold on. Let me see if I'm getting beside myself here. Because like I said, it's 34 witnesses. This thing is heavy. No, okay. Capricorn Clark, no. I'm sorry. That's Mia. You're going to get the her in the field. Capricorn Clark is assistant. She's a friend of Cassie's. This is the one that says she was kidnapped. This is where the kidnap charges come from. She said that, Puffy is rumored to always wear fake jewelry. Why not? And as a billionaire, he ain't even got to wear fake jewelry no more. He ain't got to wear none of that no more. But he liked the glycerin. You know what I'm saying? So he likes to wear fake jewelry. So what he does is he leaves the jury around and tests the people around him. You understand? So it was a big diamond or so-called diamond ring that was missing. So Puffy said, I want everybody to take a lie detector test. This was one of his things that he would do. So Capricorn Clark is saying that she was held at gunpoint and she was forced to travel alone after that to Manhattan for 5 days at a hotel to do this polygraph test that was conducted by an ex FBI agent. So they asked her, was the Puffy put the gun to your head and said, she said, no, he was just had the gun and he was just screaming and he was, so you're not held at gunpoint, you're not kidnapped. Meanwhile, you're going to do a polygraph test on your own. You ain't deterring nowhere else. You're going to do what, but she's like, my job is in jeopardy. This is her excuse. She goes and she takes the polygraph test. I'm assuming she passed because she kept her job. The second incident she said was with Kid Cudi. She said that she got word that Puffy found out about Cassie and Kid Cudi because Cassie and Kid Cudi was going through a relationship crisis between one another, and she was telling Kid Cudi that. I mean, she told Ryan Leslie one thing, right? She told Kid Cudi, listen what Kid Cudi had to say after. She told Kid Cudi that they was going through it and she wasn't messing with Puff like that. So her and Cassie and Kid Cudi started doing their thing. So Capricorn Clark gets the call that Diddy found out about her and Cassie. So the story is Cassie says she called Capricorn Clark when she took the stand. But Capricorn Clark says she called Cassie and told Cassie what was going on. She said, you got to warn Kid Cudi. Cassie, according to her, said, I'm going to do that. Puffy said, you ain't going on. This is what he tells Capricorn Clark. So now Capricorn Clark said she's being held against her will. She's being kidnapped. So he takes her and his security and it goes to Kid Cudi house, what she said is no more than about 30 minutes to a half an hour away, where they was at in Hollywood. They get there, they get out of the car. That's what she said. She has a cell phone on her. I don't know any kidnapped victim that has a cell phone, but she has a cell phone on her. She watched them break into the house, so she said. Immediately, she picks up the phone. Cassie said that she called her, but Capricorn Clark said she called Laura London. So now Diddy's team is like, so while they was in the house, you took out your phone and the first person you called was Laura London. She said, yeah. They said, well, what did you talk about? She said, we was talking about mountain lions. I don't know any kidnapped person that has a cell phone. I don't know any kidnapped person that says they was held at gunpoint in fear for their life first person they're gonna call is not 911, but is their friend to talk about mountain lions. But this is what she said. You know what I'm saying? This is the bull crap that was going on, right? And lo and behold, as time went on, well, let me get to something. So now she also said that they got out of the road because actually, excuse me, she was left on the road when Puffy left the house. Left her, kicked her out the car. She's on the road, right? But she said now she's on the road with Cassie. I don't know how all this is transpiring, right? Because Cassie says something totally different. Cassie didn't even put herself on the scene. But according to Capricorn Clark, she was with Cassie.
I forgot to mention that they was in the car together, right? And then she said while they was on the road, they saw Kid Cudi's car flying up to his house. And then they saw the fire trucks, and they like, hey, they trying to flag him down. They trying to call him, but he's not answering. I'm like, what the hell? Because when Kid Cudi took the stand, he said he got a call from Diddy that's saying, yo, I'm at your house right now. He like, what? He said, I'm at your house. Where you at? He said, I ain't home. He said, I know you ain't home. He said, I want to talk to you. He said, about what? He said, about Cassie. So immediately he got upset because he felt like you breaking it into my home. This is what Kid Cudi had to say. Kid Cudi comes home. It's broke. The house they said was broken into, right? His porch is on fire. I want y'all to hear this. They asked the Puffy's team, who broke the locks on your house? He said, nah, it wasn't broken. I left the door open. So there's no breaking and entering. Maybe trespassing, but that's not breaking and entering. Then they said the cameras was turned from the inches of the door so you couldn't see who entered the property. Listen, if you turn in the camera's gonna catch you. Especially if you living in Hollywood and you got a porch. You ain't got these little cheap New York City cameras. You got some cameras. But there's no evidence that supported that Puff was in his house. There's no evidence or fingerprints that showed that Puff touched his doorknob. But they did find a fingerprint on the doorknob. And they did find a Molotov cocktail, broken glass, that had his porch on fire, then blew up. They found the fingerprint. Guess who fingerprint it was? Not Puffy, but it was a female fingerprint. And you know what? It was so interesting in that because I'm like, wait a minute. When Kid Cudi was on the stand and he testified and he said that he had female gifts in there and it was opened up. His dog was in the bathroom. They locked the dog in the bathroom, but all the female gifts was open up. I'm like, why would a dude open up a female gift? Wasn't no dude that no Puffy at your house. It was a female at your house. And it probably was Cassie mad at you. That I'm just saying allegedly mad. Or maybe it was another female that was upset with him that didn't like what he was doing, and the fingerprint was there. And you know how females are. They mad that break your car window. On this term, whoever she was so mad, she said, I'm gonna burn your whole car down. That's what women do. They attack your car. Men don't attack your car. Men are physical. They would attack you in the car. You know what I'm saying? So what was so interesting in that is because they tried to ask the lead officer in that investigation on the stand, where is the cards of the fingerprint? Because that evidence would have cleared Puffy from all that allegations. Guess what happened? They said the evidence was missing. Where'd the evidence go? I don't think Puff would have destroyed no evidence that can clear him, especially if it's a female fingerprint. Who would want to do that? Would it be the LAPD who was bribed by somebody? Or could it have been the prosecution team who got rid of it? So of course, Puffy lawyers jumped up, mistrial. They called for a mistrial because technically in the state or even in the federal, if you tamper with evidence and you on trial, I don't care what it is, your case is getting dismissed because evidence was tampered with. The case was tampered with. But this judge, he overruled it. He overruled it, and he wanted the evidence to be excluded. But he wanted to keep Kids Cudi accusations that didn't put Puff nowhere on the scene, not even from phone records, because he said, I spoke to Puff. There's no phone records showing that he had any communication with Puff during that time. See what I'm saying? They trying to railroad Puff. This is way bigger than some sex thing. Come on, man. They trying to railroad. And check this out. This is a high profile case, right? They got this judge called Judge Aaron Subaramian. This dude only got 2 years experience as a judge. You think they would actually put a judge like that on a high profile case like that? Heck no. They will put a very experienced judge. They knew this case was garbage. They knew this case was garbage. They said, I'm not touching this case. We're going to put some new jack up in there. Because if you lose this case, your career ain't going to be the same no more. They gave it to the new guy. You take care of that. And he it's fool yourself went and did it. And the whole case is getting shut down. Hit that like button. Hit that like button. Hit that like button. What? That's all I got is 1,000 subscribers? Nah, I need some more. I need some more. I mean, I got 1,000 views. I need some more. Nah, I wish I did. What? But look, we're going to move on, right? We're going to move on. And it's crazy about the Kid Cudi's incident because it was the lead investigator that was doing all this. You are in charge of the evidence. How did the evidence go missing? Explain it. He couldn't explain it. He couldn't explain it. But you know what the prosecution said? The prosecution team said? Sidebar. Yo, I got this from my man. Yo, he killed me with the sidebar. They said, sidebar. You're gonna come back on appeal? Oh, you mean he's gonna come back on appeal? Oh nah. He done beat a lot of charges right now. We're gonna get to this, man. He done beat. Matter of fact, let's put it out there right now. They done dropped today. They done dismissed the arson charge. Because actually Kid Cudi, there's no proof. He's not even on the scene. No phone record, no nothing. All you got is hearsay. And as a matter of fact, they asked Kid Cudi, why do you feel that Puffy did it? He said, because he just found out about me and Cassie. We had a conversation and he seemed upset. So that would let me to believe that he did that. Then the defense asked him, do you believe that Cassie played you and Diddy? And you know what Kid Cudi said? He said yes. He said yes. He didn't actually lie. He just came and told the truth. He said, yo, I just felt, I ain't got no beef with nobody. And I felt that as soon as this happened, me and this dude, me and this dude had a conversation and it went left. And all of a sudden my house got broken into. What, the locks ain't broke. No, the cameras ain't finding nobody or nothing. They said, oh man, nah. They said, nah, man. So the arson charge, you see they kept the RICO. Yeah, are we gonna get to that? We gonna get to that. They beat the kidnapping charge. Actually, I just told y'all about Capricorn Clark. Come on now. You kidnapped with a cell phone, and the first person you call is Lauren London talking about mountain lions. Real kidnap victims, they praising God they got a cell phone. They calling 911 immediately. I don't care how much you're a celebrity. They calling the police if they really feel they kidnapped. She wasn't kidnapped. As a matter of fact, she was smashing Puff too, having freak off. Because throughout the Texas with that, he said, yo, you don't want me to tell Cassie what was going on between me and you, right? This was Cassie's friend. Cassie didn't know that. Come on, talk back to me. She was mad because she thought she was going to be in Cassie's position. Because she even said it. She said, listen, she said, hold on. Yeah, sorry about that. But but she felt jealous of Cassie because she had quit and came back to work after came back to work for Puff. After all of this kidnapping talk she was talking about, she had quit and got hired back. She came back because she said I couldn't find work nowhere else. She felt she was blackballed. And she came back to work. And when she found that Cassie was there, she said, "What the hell is she doing here still?" This was on Texas. They put it up on the screen. Put it all up in the screen. You remember saying that, and she admitted, yeah, yeah. She was jealous of Cassie. Yeah, I don't know what it is. Cassie must have that good, man, because yo, look, all the security guards it's not security, all the escorts that she was dealing with, she was smashing on the side outside of Puff. She was even getting a high still outside of Puff. It don't make it seem like, oh, Puff kept her drugged up. No, she was getting drugged up outside of Puff. Even the security, I keep saying security, even the escorts was admitting that. Like, yeah, after us, was dealing with each other and we was dealing with each other on the side. It's like, yo, she was getting high too. One of them even said, I got jealous because one day we was at a freak off and we was getting it in, and then Puff said, yo, that's it. And I don't know, yo. I don't judge men, but all this Tootsie Roll talk, but the brother said Puffy took her up on his arms, lifted her up in the air, and she sounded like Mariah Carey. He said he got so jealous he had to leave. Yo, man, this case is crazy, man. Look. So now you got uh you got Mia. Mia alleges that she was raped by Puff, that she was drugged. Hold on, let me see what the brother said first. Oh yeah, the Rico. Okay. So she admitted that she was drugged up by Puff. This is what we was hearing about the sleeping pills or whatever was in the drink, and she fell out. They was at Burning Man concert somewhere in another country. I think it was Jamaica, if I'm correct. And she was with Cassie, and she said she went into the room. This is what she's telling prosecutors. She said she went into the room and Puffy gave her something to drink and she felt lightheaded. And all of a sudden, when she woke up, she felt a hand between her leg. Then, next thing you know, before she knew it, Puffy was on top of her and inside of her. And she said she was raped, right? And when we heard that, we was like, oh. And when the black women and all kind of women heard that, they was like, ah. And they started stoning Puffy, right? They started painting him like Bill Cosby. So now the defense comes in, the dream team. Because by this time, they call them because they smashing every witness that come on the stand. Straight up like that. Right? They even smashed Cassie mother down. We'll get to that. That was real brief though. It was real brief. But Mia, they started putting up Instagram posts with defense. So yeah, but this social media stuff, y'all keep putting all y'all business out there, right? She's in there talking about, oh, I can't wait to go back to Birmingham with Puff and my bestie. Why would you want to go back if you were sexually molested? Then after that, there was other Instagram pictures and posts where she's saying, oh, I'm with Cece. So they asked her, well, hey, whoa, who's Cece? They said, Cassie, Cassandra Ventura, you mean? Yeah, but at that time, she was calling herself Cassie Combs. See, this ain't sex trafficking. This is a woman that's making herself a wife. See how the sex trafficking got dismissed? Pick your face up. It's right there. I know for months I was talking. I know. Just pick it up. It's right there. I see it right there. It's by your eyelashes. Pick it up. Hit that like button. Hit that like button. So we ain't gonna deal into her too much because they put up 34 Instagram posts. They embarrassed her so bad. Embarrassed her, talking about how they was having sex and everything outside of that. Then when we gonna meet up, Puff? And the jury was a jury again. They was all laughing. It was all to the point that when they called her back in, they said no more Instagram. You know, the prosecution team was like, sidebar. They said no more Instagram, but shut her lights out. Shut her lights out. Then you had another brother named George Kaplan. They gave him immunity, young Caucasian fella. He was working at Nickelodeon. He was actually working for an assistant director at Nickelodeon. He was like the assistant, right? And Puff took a liking to him and the assistant. So he took the assistant, like, yo, I want you to come work for me, man. I want you, because Puff always wanted the best around him. You know what I'm saying? This was the forte through the whole trial. Like everything around him, he wanted the best around him at Bad Boy, whatever he did. This is why he was so successful. Because if you wasn't grinding, being up, especially he on all these drugs, he up all night. He's man, he's on from 0 to 100. So he wants you thinking like him and moving like him. So their sister was like, yo, it's cool. I could come with you, but I need my assistant as well. This was the young guy, George Kaplan. Eventually, George Kaplan, he started to become successful. And hold on, did they ever say how much drugs he got caught with? Man, hold on. Let's put that to the side, right? Let's put that to the side real quick. We're going to get back to George, right? They actually dismissed the drug trafficking charge because there's no drug trafficking. All Puffy was doing was buying drugs for him to get high. Drug trafficking is this. Yo, I got locked up for 10 kilos. Yo, I got locked up for 50 kilos and I was trying to move it to Miami. Yo, I got locked up for 60 kilos. I was trying to move it to St. Louis. Not, yo, I got I got a pound of weed that's gonna last me for a good week. Yo, I got me like 5 pills of ecstasy. Yo, I got 0.5 grams of cocaine. That's not drug trafficking. That's a person that's getting high. It couldn't prove it because he wasn't making no money. Was he buying the drug from certain people? Yes, that came out in court. But did them people come to testify? No. No. How come they ain't get testified? They ain't get caught up. They the drug dealers. They don't want them. They wanted Puff. So they used his assistance by saying, listen, how did Puff get the drugs? Well, Puff will give me the money, or he already send the money over. He'll just tell me go pick up the drugs, and that was it. This is what he was using a lot of his assistants for. They pick up drugs, but they was always asked, was this during work hours or personal hours? And they all said personal hours. See, this separates the RICO now because it's not during work hours. That's number one. Number two, he's not making no money off of the drugs. So I don't even know how they get that. You know what I'm saying? So I was going to be a RICO with no drug. Exactly, brother. That's the whole. That's why these charges right now is dismissed. They dismissed the arson charge, the kidnapping charge, and the sex trafficking charge. The only thing right now that they got over his head that they trying to stick him with is the forced labor charge, where he's overworking people to do things outside of his workplace, but they agreeing to do it for him. You understand what I'm saying? It's not like he's forcing them. He like, yo, listen, man, I'm about to have a little freak off tonight. I need you to go do something for me if you could do it. You know what I mean? I throw you a little extra, whatever. All right, man, I've been working like 15 hours, but I got you what you need to do. I need you to go to a hotel. I need you to set up stuff and make sure everything is secluded there. Because around this time, most times, Cassie wasn't there no more. Well, I won't even say that because they was doing that for like 11 years. So most time, Cassie would set up the hotel room, but he would use his assistants to clean up the hotel room because he can't leave nothing that's in bad standard that will get back to him in the press, because they ain't going to be looking at no assistant. They're going to be looking at Puffy. You know what I'm saying? Yo, Puffy left mad drugs over here. Yo, Puffy left pills. Because nobody really knew he had that addiction. Well, us as civilians didn't know. But in that world, man, they all getting high, man. I won't even be surprised now whole sniffing once a line or two now. You know what I'm saying? Remember, he said, I don't smoke, but now you up there smoking cigars. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. So George Kaplan was a young brother, like I said. No, excuse me, not a young brother, but a young white individual. And he was doing this for Puff as well. He was, cleaning up, cleaning up the hotel rooms. He was delivering money. But Puff would have a pouch normally with like $10,000 in it. It would be some drugs in there. And he would tell me, yo, go get that. And, after a while, he said he saw some things along with the abuse with Cassie. And he was just like, I'm not cut out for this. You know what I'm saying? He like, I'm not really with this. I just want to learn. But he said on the stand, he said, I love Puff. He said, because Puff was the first one to give me my break and my shot. He said, I was in the record industry, the music industry, something I love. And I was learning the game while I was in Harvard. And Puffy was paying my tuition in Harvard. And even when I left, Puffy was still paying. They asked him, then why did you testify? Why are you testifying? He said, I don't want to testify. He said, the prosecution is making me testify. I don't want to be here. But if I don't testify by being subpoenaed, now I get a warrant for my arrest. That's how thirsty they are. They had another sister we hear about, Gina, right? That Cassie was, jealous of. Said, Gina's bad, supermodel. You know what Gina said? Gina did all the freak offs and all that. Gina told the prosecution team, F your subpoena, do what you gotta do. I ain't coming in. I ain't testifying against nothing. I did everything willingly. You don't hear Gina on that stand. So the forensics psychologist now, Dawn Hughes, she deal with the mental issues of the women that's physically abused. She gets sometimes $600 an hour for her individual sessions on her personal life, dealing with her clients. When it comes to the federal courts, the federal system, especially in Brooklyn federal courts, she gets $6,000 an hour. So when they're talking to her in the offices, they're on the clock. When she comes to the courts and they put on a stand for 2-3 hours, they're on the clock. She's making a whole lot of money. She breaks down the trauma of an abusive woman. I'm not gonna go too much into it. You gotta check it out on my last content. But I would say this: there was a lot of stuff she said in there that was true, right? But one of the things that stood out was the fact that out of her 30 years of doing this, not once she interviewed Cassie, but she had a whole lot to say about Cassie's state of mind. Check that out. Then it was shown and proved that she entered the prosecution team office and coached them and helped them into using the medical terms into the legal terms when it concerns the case, when it deals with a victim of a young woman that's being abused. You can't do that. You can't do that. Messed up a blue. The defense smashed her out. She was like, you know what the prosecution team said, right? Sidebar, objection. They threw her out. And they didn't throw a whole case out, but they destroyed it because how could you be in this profession for 30 years and you have not interviewed the victim? They do it in Law and Order all the time. Remember that Asian guy? Every time you see a rape victim, what they do? They bring him in and he interviews and he get his self-hypnosis, and then now that goes along with their case. And then when they're on the stand, he be on the stand and he gives his input on in his medical professional or his medical terms that he needs to use to get his point across, so everybody can see the case more clear when it deals with the mental state of mind. There's not one she interviewed Cassie, not one time. So anything you said was rehearsed. Everything, because everything she said on that stand, she said for 30 years. Then they asked her, where do you make more money at? In your own profession or in the courts? She said, my own profession. They said, it's absolutely impossible. They said, you make at least 30% of your income in your own profession. You make 70% from the government. You're getting charged, you charge them $6,000 an hour. And everything she said in this trial, you could find everything she said in everybody else's trial. It was just coerced. It looked stupid. Of course, she got up to stand and left, well, head down, right? Then you got Myla Morales. Called her, they kind of call her as a witness, right? They smashed out. She tried to say she's so Puffy get violent. They try to do this, and he was doing that to Cassie and other women that she seen that she didn't know their name. The defense came. When was the last time you worked for Puff? She said 11 years ago. When was the last time you even spoke to Cassie? Around about that time. You don't know nothing. Meanwhile, she was running all around town doing interviews. You see the Asian woman up there? Well, she looks Asian, but she's, I guess mixed or whatever. Not to be, no derogatory statement or anything like that, because all people of color is original people to me. But she was up there doing all of these interviews on CNN and TMZ. She get paid for that, like Gene did. So she was basically making money off of that. Smashed her out. You see how that was going, right? Then you had Jane Doe. Oh my God. Everybody was talking about Jane Doe. Jane Doe said she was being hung off the balcony in LA, like the Suge Knight incident with Vanilla Ice from Puffy, and he was threatening her, and then he raped her this day, and then he raped her that day. I didn't even put the dates down. Normally I'll do that, but I don't have to. You know why? Because when the defense team got involved, guess what happened? Every day she made her accusation, Puffy was on tour in New York City. He was doing a mini bad boy tour. And every day she claimed that he assaulted her, he raped her, he abused her, and everything, and all of that. They showed, well, how can that be? This is what they asked, the defense team asked to understand. And this was from one of the female defense lawyers that Puffy got, white lady, Swift. Say, I want to ask you a question. Can you explain how Puffy could be two places at the same time? She said, I can't explain that. She said, I know you can't explain that because you're a liar. Objection. Then on top of that, this is the funny part, right? Eventually, she was part of the free calls, but she was already doing free call prior to Puffy with other celebrities. It came out in the courtroom, all through Texas. It all came out. And not only that, she was also doing free calls with Puffy. But what it was, this is what they were saying. She was mad at Young Miami. She was very jealous of Miami. Because when Young Miami come through, everything shut down. They said, Young Miami got a Chanel bag. She had got what them bags? Bada bags? I don't know. I don't be knowing that stuff. But Bada bag, it was some bag that I put it like that. It was expensive, but it wasn't no Chanel bag. She was pissed off. And you want to know the funny thing about this case with her? that at this time, while she was testifying, Puffy was still paying her condo, the rent on her condo. Because while they was doing the freako, she said, I'll do whatever you want. Puffy said, all right, we'll do what you need. Just let me know and I got you. She said, this pay my condo, $10,000 a month. Puffy said, no problem, I got you. I mean, when you're a billionaire, you got women everywhere. You could take care of them, you're a billionaire. Make sure they happy so they don't mess up your flow. And he's letting them all know, yo, listen, you're part of the team, you're part of the stable. This is what I got going on. I got Young Miami over there. I got Cassie over there. I got this one over there. I got that one over there. He ain't talking about no men. He talking about women. And he's taking care of all of them. Everybody want to be number one. It couldn't be Kim Porter. Oh, man, Cassie. You got to see one of the videos that she tried to get into a family photo. Puffy pushed over like, you bucking? Like, this is a family photo. You gonna try to get in there knowing what we doing? Like, I love you and all of that, but at some point in time, I gotta have some respect for my child's mother. Like, you're wilding, sis. You know what I mean? But Jamie Doe got pissed off, of course, right? Oh, I think they also got that what is it? One of those RICO charges for with guns. I gotta look it up. Right? I gotta look it up. I'm coming soon. Homeland Security. That's what I was coming to. Right? So Homeland Security, like I said, for some apparent reason, they waited for him to leave. You know, you get a warrant, like I said, they kicking in your door, gun in your face. You see how they had him on TV with his children backing up and all of this case making a whole big scene, right? When they raided the house, right? First, they stopped at. No, matter of fact, excuse me, I'm gonna go to that. They raided the house. They went into his room, right? They found baby oil, not 1,000 baby oil. Ain't no feds sitting there talking about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, it was a couple of bottles of baby oil and a couple of bottles of Astroglide. There was no baby oil that was filled with drugs in it that y'all went on social media and went ham about. I remember I told you in my content, I said everything you hearing on TV, you ain't gonna hear none of that in the court. You know why? Because the prosecution ain't gonna leak that evidence. It's gonna mess up their case. So people will start making it up because they're trying to get their meta views up and get paid. You know what I mean? With all these likes and comments and shares, right? So they found a couple of bottles of baby oil in this room or this side of the room. Then they went into the ladies' room where they found all the shoes and stuff. I don't know whose shoes it was. It could be Cass, could have been anybody else. We don't know, right? They found some drugs in there. Not a lot. We talking about drugs that you take to the club, right? Then they put it all in a pile and they took a picture and they made it look like it was bigger than something else. They did that with the guns too. They took all the guns and they put all of that to the side and they took a picture to make it seem like, oh my God, he had all of that. So the lead investigator, the dream team came. They come to the stand. These witnesses start shaking in their boots, right? Told the lead investigator. So why did you wait for Puffy to leave for you to invade his house with a warrant? He said, I didn't know Puffy left. He talking about the feds here. He talking about the same people that took down the Panthers, that came at Malcolm X, Martin Luther King. You didn't know. Yeah, right. You are the United States government, but you don't know about a plane ticket. All right. So they asked him, where did you find the guns? You want me to put these documents out to remind you where the guns were? Guess where the guns was at, y'all? The guns was not in the house. None of the guns was in the house. The guns was in the front and by the gate in the security booth, locked, where there's armed security. When you got money in like that and you got paper, you could afford security on your team that has armed guns. Even
Even one of the assistants, they asked him, they said, is it known? The defense team asked him, is it known in the celebrity world that they hire security with guns? He said, all the time. You got all these rappers getting their head blown off with jury. You think Puffy ain't going to get nobody? I know I will. And all the security, armed guns was in the security booth, wasn't in the house. So how we get in the house? You found two AR-15s, or I believe, yeah, two AR-15s. Their serial number was scratched off. Guess what? It was inoperable. They wasn't even working. That's what they showed, and you was like, oh, look at all of that. Wasn't even in his house. He wasn't even at the house. So what gun charges you have? All those guns belong to the security. It's in the security booth. But you got his kids at gunpoint. Right? Then you got this guy, Jonathan Perez. This is one of Diddy's other assistants. You know, Diddy had like 7, 8 assistants. You know what I'm saying? Hey, like they said, you can only work 16 hours a day. You know what I'm saying? So he had to have multiple different assistants. It's just that they're trying to get him on a forced labor because these assistants are supposed to be off work, but they always all get bonuses for whatever they did. Because I know you got a family, we understand that. But you could say no. They chose not to. They did it voluntarily. It wasn't forced. And then they got paid for extra whatever he did. And he called it a bonus. They asked Jonathan Perez, because Diddy had a different name for his free code. They called it the nights. You know what I mean? And they asked him what it was. He said, yo, at times I had to go, hook up the hotels. He said sometimes I would have to go to, women's stores and get lingerie, get condoms, get the baby oil. I had to set up the hotel room, and then I'll go my way. He said that was what it was about. And they asked him as well, is this his business hours or this is personal hours? And he said this was always personal hours. See, they always trying to interlink his business on the RICO to take on his assets. Now, this is personal. This is what he liked to do when he's off. He's doing this, baby. Every time he's off the clock. When he's on the clock, he's probably looking and applied for the next one. But when he's off the clock and he ain't working, it's time to get this in, baby. This is what he does. And he even admitted, Jonathan Perez, that he even shot for Jane Doe. He even bought clothes for Jane Doe plenty of times. They used to ask him, did you ever bought drugs for him? He said, well, I wouldn't say I bought drugs, but I picked some up for him to have fun. He said, like many other entertainers. Like many other entertainers. The defense team, like, what you mean like drugs? Like, you mean like 5 kilos, a kilo? He was like, oh, this was no sex trafficking at all. This is Puff calling the prostitutes, either Puff or the females calling. I won't even say prostitutes because all the escorts that got on the stand, they asked them, even the prosecution, are you a prostitute? They say, no, I'm not a prostitute. I'm an escort. I work for myself. I'm independent. Or I work with a company. You can call through a company and pay the company, and the payment will come through me as well. The company will help me get work, and they will get a proceed, which is called like commission. So you see why the sex trafficking is? Ladies, I know the face. I know it's right there. I know. I'm not enjoying this. Yo, like I said, man, no, I'm lying. I'm enjoying this because y'all had this man crucified like he was evil. I ain't gonna lie. He's bad at, I won't even say probably, he's bad
at the music contract. He was bad at the situation with Sean. I ain't gonna lie. He did Sean a little. He did not little. He did Sean dirty. But I didn't know why Sean didn't have no money to bribe the witnesses as well. You know what I'm saying? Allegedly. You know what I mean? I guess he was looking at Puff to help him. And like, yo, Puff, you my man. Listen, man, you get into that game, you ain't got no man. You're a business partner. If that was your man, you wouldn't even have had that kind of contract you had. You wouldn't have been struck. You wouldn't have been taking a train to court if that was your man. You should have knew that wasn't your man from day one. But that's him. So even Jonathan Perez said, you know, Jane Doe was a willing participant. Because he said he knew her from different celebrities where they was doing that. You know how it is even with Superhead. You know, word is like around the way. We know who giving it up, who got the best mouth or whatever, and we like, yo, listen. I know a sister right now, she thinks she's smart. She's dealing with like 2-3 dudes and she thinking they don't know. Man, they know, they talking. They mans. That's what they do. That's what we do. I listen, I got female friends. I listen to them. They talk just like dude. Yo, let me tell you, that nigga mouth is nasty. After he did this and then he went home to his wife. Yo, who he give it up good? Yeah, girl. Yo, that's your man like that? Hell no, I'm done with him, y'all. I'm hit him up. Yo, I be hearing, I'm like, yo, look at this. The females are right. The females are the new dudes. But y'all up there acting like this is all new. Right? So now, during the time of this trial, they try to get rid of jury 6, right? This is called preemptory strike. They got rid of all the black jurors. That's when you heard on the news, jury 6 was dismissed. It's called a preemptory strike. They said, oh, because he lied, he was inconsistent. Let me tell you, that's bullcrap. Preemptory strike means that you can get rid of any juror you feel that is not in your favor throughout your trial. You got 7 of them. You got 7 strikes to use. And every strike they used, they got rid of a black person because we saw the bullshit and they was up there laughing. And the last juror was replaced by a 57-year-old white man. Come on, man. You don't see what's going on? You don't see what's going on? They knew they was losing it. They was trying to get the white crowd. You know what I mean? I heard one sister say, you can't blame her. No, I can't blame her because I know it was much deeper in this game. They don't care about no Cassie. Man, please, she got not only, yo, look. Not only Cassie got 20 million from Diddy, but during the trial, she shook down the hotel and got 10 million. Because you know how I know? They blew it up. The defense team, I tell you, the dream team is not playing. They said, oh, was that the only lawsuit that you put in? She said, yeah, that was the only lawsuit against her. He says, so you didn't settle out for no other money? They said, no, I did not settle out, which was true. She didn't settle. She didn't put in no lawsuit. They said, well, wait a minute. You didn't get $10 million that you're supposed to get from last week? Because at the time, she was already testifying. From last week, from the hotel, she said, oh, yeah. Yes, they told me they was gonna give me $10 million. Why? Because when the incident happened, the security never documented the incident or what happened. Not only they covered that up, but they tried to get rid of the tape, and they sold the tape to Diddy because he didn't want this type of incident. Because he was like, "Listen, you know, I'm Diddy. You already know who I am. I can't jeopardize my career." She got a movie premiere tonight that's coming out tonight. We cannot let this go out. She has a career. They said, don't worry about it. They gave them 30,000 and the tape was supposed to disappear, but it popped back up. So what Cassie said probably is more to the story that was going on in that hotel room. And you don't want me to start talking to the press. What's your name is Victoria? 10 million. She got 30 million out of all of that. And I can't really knock her because after she broke up with Puff, she was homeless.
You know what I'm saying? She moved back home with her mom. She was on her third child now. The mom tried to say, Diddy tried to shake her down and said, I ain't letting her go unless you give me 20 million. I mean, 20,000 for an advance. And the mother said she had to refinance her house. And she sent Puffy the 20,000. Puffy sent it to his finance office and sent it back to her like, I don't want no $20,000. My woman. He wasn't trying to let her go. That's why they ain't had no case or no shakedown with that. But a lot of y'all ain't know because y'all only heard one side of the story. Y'all ain't hear the whole thing. That's why these charges is beat. That's why he done beat the arson charge, the kidnapping charge, the sex trafficking charge. I don't know about the drug trafficking charge. I don't think that's going anywhere because you have to have a large amounts of drugs. You have to have a large amount. You have to have. Nobody's going to get 30 years for 3.5 of cocaine or 3.5 of marijuana. That's just not going to work. That's not going to work at all. You know what I'm saying? So, what else? I think I covered everything. Yeah, I think I covered everything so far because I was going for a week. You know, normally I read through the transcripts and I'll go from the prosecution and then I'll go from the defense and I'll let you read it. But guess what? Now that we at the end of the trial, now you're hearing everything that's coming out, all the contradictions that they're lying. Now you're starting to see the bull crap. Now you're like, nah, Puffy, they trying to get Puffy money. That's all it was about. All those females thought they was going to be number one, and they was never going to be number one. His number one died. As a matter of fact, Cassie even said she texted Puffy because she came to Kim Porter's memorial. Puffy poured his heart and said I was his soulmate. She got up and left and got mad. How the hell you made this about you at his? How'd she do that? She said, how dare you say that? How could you do this to me? First of all, you wasn't even invited. This man is at a memorial hurting, and his twin daughters is hurting that they lost their mother, and you came down there to make something about you. Listen, if I was like that, and my wife, that happened to my wife, and some chick came down there, just to believe my daughters was whipping her ass. That's crazy. You know what I'm saying? First of all, if I wouldn't even allow nothing like that to happen. You know what I'm saying? As soon as I seen it, I'd have grabbed the ball. What the hell are you doing here? Are you out of your mind? I would have been cut her off, but he was in love. So that's his fault. That's his drama, and that's his tea. But I know one thing, he gonna get found out guilty. He gonna come home. And all them dudes that was all quiet. See, that's why Kanye popped up. He saw the bull crap. But see, Kanye is different. You can't control Kanye. He gonna say what he wanna say. Can't control him. He gotta talking about, he ain't a billionaire no more. How he ain't a billionaire no more? He been a billionaire. He said, when they said that the news broke the next day, they said Adidas dropped you. His net worth went to 400 million. They said he's no longer big. He said, how's that when I got like 3 billion in the bank? It's called net worth, not what you got in your bank account. And he made Adidas. Nobody, when all his stuff was coming out on Adidas, that's when people was buying it. Now his stuff ain't on Adidas. Who wearing Adidas? You ain't even seen Adidas hat. Nobody wearing that. He brought that to life. You know what I'm saying? But look, I'm gonna let y'all go. You know what I'm saying? I've been here 2 hours now. Let me let y'all go, man. Chill with my grandson, eat my Chinese food, and chill up in my bedroom. Got the room to myself. My wife is out partying. You know what I'm saying? I'm enjoying myself with my grandson and have fun before his mama gonna take him. You know what I'm saying? So y'all have a good night. Thank you for tuning in. God bless you. Thank you. I'll be here again. See you later.